What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Champagne Leatherwork. I'm Ronnie Champagne, and today we're going to get to the bottom of the biggest debate in leather: how to finish your veg tan edges and burnish them to perfection. All right, so welcome back. I said it. We're going to figure every way out to burnish leather. We're going to figure out what's best, what's fastest, what's smoothest, what's prettiest. So the first method obviously is going to be water. This is your standard H2 and O, or H and 2. No, it's definitely, it goes in me and it goes on my leather. We drink it every day, unless you're a weirdo and you only drink soda and juice, which you should probably drink some water. I don't have anything else to say about this. It's water, okay? Then we're gonna go to gum trag. This is my first time using gum trag. I've never used this stuff in my life, and you might be saying, but Ronnie, you call yourself a professional and you've never used gum trag? I never said I was a professional. I don't know what I'm doing. A lot of people that have been in the leather community for a long time swear by this stuff. I've never used it. I heard that gum trag penetrates the fibers more. It gets more into the leather. It's kind of like the in-between between water and toconol from what I hear, but it's also all natural. And it's just an all natural product that you can use for finishing edges. The final product is the one that I've been using for forever. It's toconol. It feels just like lotion, but I guess inside there's resin in here. There's some chemical, I don't know. This is not all natural, but this is what I've been using for years, and they say that this doesn't penetrate the leather like gum trag or water will, and this kind of rests on top and helps gloss up the leather. And that can be good and bad. I found on a website that it says that you can use this for chrome tan as well, but I'm not here to debate about that. I think that works because this is more, like I said, a resin, and you're actually burnishing the toconol itself on top of the leather instead of burnishing the leather with the toconol. But I don't know that. I'm not going to speak about that. Yeah, the last one's toconol. So you might be saying, wait a minute, slow down. I don't even know what burnishing is. I don't even know what edge finishing is. Well, you take the fibers on the edge side of the vegetable tan leather and you use some kind of slicking material to pack those fibers down and get them looking smooth, glossy, and like a professional finish. All right, so what are we gonna burnish? I have some beautiful brown bridle. Beautiful brown bridle. Yeah, I have a big old piece of it. I'm gonna use 3 plies of it. It's 3 to 4 ounce leather, 3 plies of that. I'm gonna glue it together. I'm gonna stitch it together like I normally would. I'm gonna round the edges like I normally would. I'm going to give every piece a normal rough sanding. And then after that, I'm going to edge bevel every single one, and they're all gonna be pretty much the exact same. From that point on, we're going to take the gum trag, the toconol, and just the plain old water, and we're going to do 5 different methods with each of these. The first method, we're going to apply just the raw material, and we're going to burnish it until it looks all right. The second method is that we're going to do exactly that, but then we're going to sand it with 220 grit sandpaper. We're going to wet it again with the material. We're going to sand it with 800 grit sandpaper. We're gonna wet it one more time and then obviously burnish it. The third method is that we're gonna do exactly that, but we're gonna throw some dye in at the start of the process. And we're gonna see how that compares to the previous method. And the last 2 methods are gonna be the exact same as the previous 2, and then we're gonna finish each with this Columbus wax. And we're gonna do that again for non-dyed and dyed. And then once the Columbus wax is applied, we're just gonna finish it off with some of this canvas, and we're gonna see which one's the best. And at the very, very end, I'm gonna go crazy, and I'm gonna combine, not the water, because forget that, but I'm gonna combine the gum trag, the toconol, and the wax, and see if that is even an option. I'm going to put a chart up on the screen, and it's going to show each method that I used and the rating for each one of those. So I'm going to be rating each one of these methods on a 1 to 5. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. So there's gonna be a minimum of 5 points that each method will get, and a maximum 25 points for each one of these, because I have 5 categories. The first method is gonna be ease. It's gonna be how easy is it to get the edge that I'm looking for. I'm not talking about time here, I'm talking about ease. Maybe it's very light, maybe I have to go burnish it for a long time. I'm just looking for ease in this first category. The second category is time. How long does it take to get to that edge? The third category is shine. 5 is going to be the shiniest, 1 is going to be dull. Now, shine and dull aren't necessarily a bad or good thing. You're more going for softness, I guess. But shine is typically what people are looking for in their edges. So shine is going to be 5 and dullness is going to be 1. In partner with that one, number 4 is going to be feel. How soft do these edges feel? Rough is going to be 1. Rough is going to be terrible. We don't want rough. The whole point of this is to not have rough. And so 5 is going to be like the smoothest edge that you could possibly feel. The last category is going to be color. When you're burnishing, you don't necessarily want to change the color of your leather as you're burnishing. I know some of these we have dye, so we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with that. But for the natural edge, we don't want the color to change, right? So we're gonna rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 is the color did not change at all, and 1 is the color darkened, the color lightened. I don't think that's gonna happen, but it could. Or the color is just maybe it turned purple. I don't know. All right, so here's our veg tan that we're gonna be using. We're gonna take this one. We're gonna make 17 little test units out of this leather, and then we're gonna get to burnishing. So I'll talk to you again when these are all made. And we're back. After a few hours, I made 17 of these bad boys. As you can see, some are dyed, some are not. That is part of the experiment. So I'm just gonna get to burnishing these. If I have anything worthwhile saying while I'm doing it, I will, but I'm just gonna get to going. Okay, so for starters, I've never actually burnished with water before, and I'm getting an edge way faster than I thought I was going to. It's already shining up, and it's been just a few seconds, which is actually surprisingly impressive. I thought water was going to be way harder to do. I'm not going to lie, I'm really impressed with water. I've never used it to burnish an edge, and it's actually super, super shiny. There's still some fibers sticking up. It's not the best. I could obviously put more work into it, but I'm just going to leave this as it is, and that's going to be the control for water. Again, incredibly impressed. Now we're going to try the gum trag. I've literally never used this product once in my life, and I'm so stoked to use it. It's got like a soapy smell to it. Actually, it smells kind of nice. Oh, this stuff's slippery. Wow, this stuff's like way more slick than the water was. This is actually crazy. Very, very slippery. It's like putting a soap on the edge. Okay, so initial thoughts on gum trag versus water. Gum trag is a little bit shinier, and it was a lot easier to get the shine, but they honestly look almost about identical. Like, I can't really tell the difference. Water is a little bit more aggressive, but the gum trag, not bad. Now we're gonna try the Tokenol. So I've used Tokenol for a few years, and this is my go-to one when I don't put too much on. Okay, so thoughts on Tokenol now. Again, like the gum trag, very easy to get the edge, super slick. As I'm looking at these, the Tokonol feels the best. The water feels the worst. They all look super similar. Like there's really not much of a difference here. I think the Tokonol, and I could be biased, I think the Tokonol came out the best. But like I said, these are all super similar. I don't know if I could really point them apart. The water maybe because I can feel it. But the Gum Drag and the Tokonol, like, they're like dead center, almost completely even. All right, so we have the controls done now. Next up, I'm going to do a dyed and raw version of the medium plus sanding with 220 grit, apply more of the medium, sanding with 800 grit, and then final burnishing with the medium. All right, well, we're back again. I sanded them the second time, applied the medium, burnished it, and I gotta say, these are all looking really good. I think the secret to edges that I kind of figured out is you kind of have to sand them if you want to get them nice and smooth. At first, with the 220 grit, I thought I was just taking off the entire finish, but then I burnished it after, and then once I re-sanded it with the 800, that's when I was like, okay, now I see what's going on here. And then after burnishing that, everything feels really good. Even the water feels phenomenal. I think where these chemicals are gonna really shine is probably longevity. I could imagine the water edge kind of falling apart over time. The other two though, they feel really solid, and after the second sanding, I think the Tokonol feels the best to me. The Gum Trag feels the grippiest, like almost like a rubber, and the Tokonol feels like a smooth surface. The water feels kind of somewhere in between, to be honest. All right, so now I did these. I'm gonna do the exact same with these, except I'm going to finish them with Columbus wax on top, and then we're gonna compare them side by side. Okay, now we're going to compare the waxing. And I'll say that the shine kind of went away. I thought the shine was gonna pop out a little more, but it seems like the shine kind of left a little bit. The edges do feel smoother, but I don't know, maybe I did something wrong. I feel like the wax should have made them pop a little more. Just gonna give them a quick rub. Yeah, I don't know. They're kind of dull. The edges look great though. I mean, they all look fantastic, but they're a little dull. I would say the two that stand out to me the most, probably the Tokonol, dyed one. Actually, both Tokonols, and the Gum Trag dyed one. The water, you can definitely tell the water one. It looks a little cracky and whatnot. But I mean, these all look good, pretty good. Okay, so I did a couple bonus ones. And what I did with these ones was where I sanded it first, I used Gum Trag, then I sanded it with the 800, then I used Tokonol, and then after that I put wax over the top. I'm gonna just compare this to the other waxed ones. To me, they feel shinier. I feel like they pop out just a little more. I could be crazy. I might be crazy. There's one more thing that I want to point out about these, and it is that I put some of the medium on the raw leather, and I just wanted to see how it looked when it dried. The water, obviously nothing. The Gum Trag, when it's dry, you can't see anything on the leather. But the Tokonol, when it's dry, I can clearly see where the Tokonol was, and it looks not great. So if you're applying this, you might want to be a little considerate with where you're applying it, because there's clearly like a yucky stain there. Okay, at this point in time, I'm going to put a graph up on the screen that shows what I would rate each one of these. I'm gonna do a little bit of a deep dive in after the fact, rate them on color changing and all this stuff. I would say though, that if you were looking to finish your edges with one of these three: water, Tokonol, gum trag. I would just say take your pick. It really doesn't matter. I think the water might falter over time. It looked like the natural water edge, just without sanding, was already starting to raise up over time. So if you had to pick one of these two, I would definitely pick gum trag or Tokonol. And I mean, I used Tokonol for years at this point. I'm a Tokonol guy, but gum trag, I mean, it's got a smell to it. If you're sensitive to smell, maybe steer away from this stuff, but it is natural. Tokonol, it feels like lotion. It's kind of messier, and also it leaves like a matte finish on your leather if you do get it on it. So that's something to take into account. I would say if you're a beginner, gum trag might be the way to go. And if you're more experienced, Tokonol would probably be that way to go. I would definitely recommend getting wax, because I think more often than not, I pick the wax ones over everything. And I think if you do a little bit of wax and then just burnish it with a cloth, it gets that little bit of shine. But you could also go a step further, and you could take a hot iron, not too hot though, and once you lay the wax down, just kind of melt it and get it even super glossy. People get really, really good edges by doing that. Honestly, I thought we were gonna have a clear winner today, but all in all, I mean, they all kind of worked great. So I don't want to say I'm disappointed, but like, you could really use anything and do anything. I'd say the most important thing is to sand, and then at the end, drop some wax, and you got yourself a great edge. So I think that's it. If you like this video, hit subscribe. You don't have to do that, but I will tell you that I worked really hard on this, and I'm a hard worker. I'm the hardest. I'm not hard. Nope. Whoa, okay.